guys say, hey, we understand this. If you work on a project, there has to be some kind of transparency. What's in it for you? There's something in it for us. We have expectations of you. So how does this income and incentives program work at Siemens?
It has developed over the years. It was not the first thing that
it would surprise me if it was.
Yeah. And there was, of course, a certain resistance there, but I know from people who I talk to that this has become much better than it used to. And the interesting thing is that this career model, the career path of a project manager.
Well, that's already a return on investment for a project manager. When I know, listen, if I do a good job on this project, I'll move up. Yeah.
And that stands exactly beside.
And that goes also with income, right?
Goes
and
also
responsibility
with income
and possibility.
Exactly, and that goes that is parallel to the career path of management. That's parallel to the career path of experts and so on. And these career paths, you can change between those. Yeah. So at some point, the ideal is not to have a line manager who also does projects.
You don't lose time because you weren't in the line organization. You still have a possibility of moving up, which is brilliant.
And in the ideal case, and I don't say that we always reach that, but in the ideal case, you can, if you want to make a career, you can actually really make the career in project management and don't necessarily have to move to line management. Of course, to a certain extent, not always in place yet, but this is the idea behind it.
We're two project cowboys, right? So we know all this beautiful language here and we appreciate it. But at the end of the day, we're also kind of a no bullshit type of guys, right? So I'm going to ask you a difficult question based on this because this is the proof. The proof is in the pudding. Of the people who've come up through Promote and PM at Siemens, have any of them reached board level yet? Maybe that's shooting too high.
Difficult to say, but I would say there have been good and interesting careers on a global basis.
But I know this is your way out, but there's several people who've come up the career path, you being one of them, who is right next to the board, what we call in some companies B-1, right? Where you have direct access to the board and you and your position in the company is in support of a lot of the things that the board do, right? So people that at Siemens that have had a project management career like yourself, have made it quite far in management.
Thanks for the flowers.
Well, that's okay. You owe me a beer afterwards.
I do, yeah. Well, what should I say now? I'm pretty sure that you can make an excellent career coming from project management or working in project management, and you can make a difference, and that's the great thing. Yeah, and you can make it visible. And you mentioned it before. One way of making it visible is to do good and talk about it, and
the visualization
we've done that
of it,
for a while. And one of the successes was the PMI award, and that was something
we'll get back to
visible.
that. Let me ask you another difficult question because I have this with one particular global client of mine. I really like them, but they irritate me in one thing. They have this principle where they measure the success of their project, and one of the success factors they measure is also EBIT and stuff like that, right? Whether the project was profitable. But they have this kind of penalty system in place where they penalize project managers if they're too far over budget or too far over time, but they also penalize their project managers if they're under budget. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? He goes, yeah, well, we've calculated that we have, I forget what the term is. You could probably tell me what the term is. There's a financial term that's used for capital that's committed to projects that is, I think it's called undercapitalization or something like that. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Where they said, Yeah. I think they said we have like $100 million worth of project capital that has been committed to projects that is underutilized. That because it's not being used, we could have used it. So it's the opportunity cost thing of that. Couple questions. Number one, do you penalize for being under budget, which is I think a rare occasion anyways? And if you are under budget, is there a bonus system in place for project managers at Siemens? And if you say no, I don't have a problem with it, but I'm curious.
There are bonus systems in place.
So the
I don't-
incentive is really an incentive.
The incentive is really an incentive, but I don't know it
That's fine.
exactly.
That's fine.
But there is, and it's usually actually fixed here.
Okay.